Listen, I appreciate each one of you brothers for being here. Like I said initially, I didn't know what this was going to be. I didn't know we were going to get to this point. It happened completely by accident. And by accident, I know it wasn't of my own making, but I know it was intentional. I know it was ordained. Mm-hmm. And with the autumn clover spice, it came out of the base spice being successful, and what are you gonna do next? Chef Charles, what are you gonna do next? What's gonna happen? I generated what's the next thing? And pumpkin spice was coming on, and I was just like, I could do something like that, but I didn't want to make it some basic, Starbucks white girl type shit. Yeah. And I thought I'm gonna do a harvest spice. I'm gonna put my own little spin on it. I'm gonna throw some coffee in that jam, little orange zest, some mint. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make it my own. You know what I mean? But as I begin to think about the marketing behind it, how was I gonna make it like something that was real? Like the timing of it all, was very real for me. In my own space, being that I suffered an infant loss in 2014 around this time. And my daughter's name was Autumn Clover, and I thought no better way to honor her, and to tell that story was to name the spice after her, and hopefully that will create a conversation, not knowing this was going to come together, not knowing that this even men that were even willing to share, their stories at the time, I didn't know. All I knew was that cinnamon, nutmeg, cardamom, all those things go really well in pie. You know what I mean? Right. Sweet potatoes and all that, and ice cream. You know what I mean? But the bigger picture is that there's a space for men that we didn't have before. And though it's just 5 of us sitting here at this table having this conversation, I know that there are 5 million, that don't get to have this conversation. Right. That need to have this conversation. And I appreciate you guys for even taking the time to be brave enough, to be vulnerable enough. Because that's something that we don't do as black men. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We don't show our space of vulnerability. We can't, the way society has set us up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We gotta be tough for our women and tough for our brothers. Yeah. And tough to our brothers. Yeah. Which is a whole nother conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean? But to bring this space together where we can be vulnerable and take off the armor. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just for a couple of hours. Now, when you set it at the door, you can pick it back up on your way out. You know what I mean? But right now, I appreciate y'all being exposed. I appreciate y'all bringing healing. I appreciate y'all bringing y'all vulnerabilities to the table. And I want y'all to know that this is a safe space, an uncensored safe space. Now, I know we have ministers here. People of the cloth, I'm gonna cuss.
We probably will.
Yeah, I got no Peters in here. But I just want to let you know that the content here is pure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, regardless of what it, say the things you need to say, feel the things you need to feel, express the things you need to express, and understand that it doesn't go outside of these walls or outside of the camera that anybody else is going to see. Let's just dive right into it. I know, Solomon, we experienced your loss in 2018, and it was an issue where, like, we got a phone call, and me and Marvin shot up to the hospital in that moment where you experienced your loss. Care to share?
Yeah, so, it's, when y'all came, it was just like, it was definitely a breath, fresh air, like I could cry to somebody and speak with somebody, because everyone else just, hey, Solomon, how you doing? What's going on? And then shoot right up to my wife, which, you know,
that's what you wanted.
That's what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
But still, it felt like I had no one to speak to about the situation and everything going on. Now I'm kind of in a better place to talk on it. At first, I wasn't, but I realized all of it was for a reason, and it was hard for me to understand that reason. And then, like, one day, I was in the car. After everything I went through, I'm driving to work, tears. I pull up, I park. I'm just in the car crying. Got the radio on, and it's talking about, like, children, now to identity crisis, being hurt and going through things. And me, I'm a mime, and I always loved miming, and I had decided I want to do a mime conference for you. And I got the basis of identity crisis from that, from what I went through, because it was basically God telling me I had to let you deal with, understand what it's like to lose a child. When I lose a child every day, to all the circumstances in the world and identity crisis and everything they go through. And so that birthed identity crisis, and through that, it's like kids that started to show up. Like, I think we ended up with like 30 kids. We taught them mime, and we did this big thing, and it helped them find out who they are and know that they are somebody, and not end up gaining children from that. That's not physical. That's not my children to say.
Now, you
but
didn't birth them.
I didn't birth them.
Yeah.
But they are my children. They look up to me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's important, that, like, we understand that our stories aren't necessarily for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The things we go through, as men, aren't for us. It's for us to share, to make sure that the men that come up beyond us are better and more equipped than us. And when we don't share, when we go silent, when we do the things that our ancestors thought were the right things, because they did the best with the information they had at that moment in time. So I don't put no fault on their silence.
Yeah.
They had to be strong for whatever reasons and silent for whatever reasons they had to in that moment in time. But, like, we're at a space where we can't be silent no longer.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys for coming along and just having this conversation. All of us have experienced infant loss in some respect, whether through miscarriages, whether through stillbirths, whether through actually having that child here, breathing, living, and experiencing, us on this side of things, and losing them as well. Like, it's one of those things where I think we don't talk about enough.
Right.
There's not a space.
You want to be strong.
We want to be strong for the individuals around us, but that doesn't allow us to be strong for ourselves.
Yeah.
So
I felt like in my whole situation, I was just being strong for my wife, like, and I would take, trips in the car, just to get away, to cry,
Yeah.
to feel the pain, and come back home. And she's like, "Oh, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good."
Mm-hmm.
But inside, I'm really not good. I'm hurt. I'm in pain. And just like, even to think about that day, like me and my wife, we worked at the same job when it happened, and she was upstairs in the accounting department. I was down in the collections department. I got a call. It came, and she called me. She was crying. I'm like, "What's wrong?" She's like, "My water broke." And I'm like, "Your water broke?" I'm like, you're not even that far ahead for your water to break." And so we hurried up and ran out, and we went to the doctor. Who was it? I can't remember the hospital name. We went to the hospital, and we got there, and they brought her in there and checked, and it was like she got an infection, and the water, the baby needed water around, and the water was all out, and so it's nothing they can do, and just going into, then we taking her to the hospital, and she's even being on the same level as other babies being born, but that your baby ain't about to be born. It's gonna be born, but it's coming up stillborn. There's no life, and just going through all that, being beside her, holding her hand, and just witnessing all that happening, and her pushing out. They put epidural in her back, and all that, and they had a child, and then after, it's nothing to them. It's like it's nothing to them. No, they don't show too much compassion, because the next day you got somebody walking up to you and coming in and saying, "Hey, what do you want to do about funeral arrangements? Do you want to what you want to do?" And I'm like, "We just need a minute. Like, can we have a minute to be with our child?" You know what I'm saying? She's sitting there, she's holding the baby, and all that, and it's no, like you said, no breath, no breath.
Programming culturally to just be like, "I'm good," when we're not good,
What do you mean by that?
So I think for men it's just that we have to show and project strength, and that showing emotion or crying or saying that something hurts us in some ways projects that we're not manly, or we're lacking in masculinity in some way. And so, when I think about when we came to check Solomon, like, for real, like, what it was in that moment is like you felt somebody saw you, because everybody was walking by you, like it was just like kind of ceremonial. Okay, you're here, you're the dad, but like, she's the one that was carrying the baby, and it's just like, well, I've been like right here the whole time, and so that's hard. And then it doesn't necessarily always feel safe for men to just be like, "Yo, I'm not good. I need to cry. I need to let this joint, just kind of let go." And so we find other ways. More often than not, they end up not being healthy ways to like manage all of that stuff. So that's just.
Well, I mean, Marvin, like you experienced a loss. Yeah. Why don't you, kind of tell us about that?
So my wife and I found out we were pregnant. It was April of 2014, I think. Everybody was excited, and it was pretty early. We found out it was pretty early. And we actually been trying. Like, first kid we was planning for. Like, we don't have a baby.
What were you doing? How were you trying, Marvin?
I agree.
And it was like kind of concerning, because at that point we had been married for like three and a half years, and so we were like kind of concerned. It was like why we not get pregnant? Part of me was like, don't stress it, because like when kids come, they change the whole equation. Right. But then part of it was just like a little concerned, so we did the whole like infertility thing, and so we ended up getting pregnant, and then everything was looking good. And we go back to the appointment like 2 or 3 weeks later, and the doctor's like, "Hold up, where the heartbeat at?" And it's just like, even though, and like for me, sometimes I feel like, man, like this wasn't, like the kid wasn't here that long, but it took such an emotional toll that I didn't realize, because of the timing of everything, and how it happened, like what else was going on in our lives at the time. Right. And that, Jennifer, she was so like excited, so excited, like, we tell a whole lot of people, but we tell, family members, have people, praying that we got the little news, a little concerning news. It was like, well, I was praying, like we didn't really know what else to do except for wait it out. And then finally, we went to the doctor. It was like the second week. Matter of fact, it was crazy because one Sunday, on a Sunday, I was ordained as a minister. Then on that Tuesday, we went to have the appointment to check on the baby, and then the heartbeat was gone. And so Jennifer had a DNC right there that day. And then on that Saturday, I graduated from seminary. So like, it was crazy because like in the midst of all of these things that was happening, like we had this like crazy loss. And
almost a secret.
Yeah, like, we a few people knew, but it was just like, I'm still like, graduation was kind of dampened because of that,
Yeah.
We had this trip planned to go to Vegas to celebrate like a couple weeks after that, and it was just like, we trying to deal with that. So we in Vegas, and it's like, all right, well, I guess we'll go out tonight. But, my wife not really feeling it because she dealing with, so it's like, now I'm carrying her, most trying to answer her questions because she looking at me. Because she looking at me like, Pastor, where the answer to the question? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a whole other thing. Because I remember one day we was in the crib, and I don't know if I was outside. I remember coming in the house, and she was in the house, she was crying, and I was like, what's wrong? And she was like, I don't understand. She's like, I don't understand. She was like, why would God let this happen to me? And I was like, she's like, you don't know? I was like,
and I never thought about that like you're your wife's pastor too.
Yeah.
In addition to her husband.
Yeah, I be trying to tell her like, just let me be Mark. But
that's the reality of it.
Yeah. So like, and that was crazy. So and like, I literally was carrying around that question. I remember having a conversation with my classmate Corey. I think it was the day before graduation. And he was like, "You good?" I was just like, "Nah." I was like, "Yo, I don't understand. Like, I'm trying to understand I'm trying to understand what I did wrong to cause this to happen." He was just like, "Bro, you think I operate like that? Like, sometimes these things happen. These things gotta happen in our lives, and we just gotta. They're part of our story. They're part of our testimony. Like, everything's not gonna be perfect just because you try to do everything the right way."
Yeah.
And that helped me. You know what I'm saying? That did help me. And that helped me to Jen and I was able to talk about it. It helped us, like, kind of move through and process it. But a lot of it was like, kind of her just trying to figure out, what she could do different. And it's just like, trying to get her to calm down and just focusing on her. I didn't really think too much about myself.
Right. I think that's the emotional toll that like a lot of us experience where like we're just so laser focused on making sure our unit, you know what I mean? Like, we know, as men, we know that like women are the foundation of everything we build. You know what I mean? Like, that happy wife, happy life thing is real to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to make sure she's straight. You know what I mean? Like, make sure she's straight so you can do the things you can focus elsewhere. And when things ain't straight in that respect, you know what I mean? It's hard to. You know what I mean? Like, get your energy right to do other things, man. Like, that's very real.
And then as men too, it's like, how do you fix the unfixable? Like, I can't. Like, there's nothing. I ain't got no tools in the garage. I don't have the master plan. Outside of, hey, let's try again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are the tools that I have that come and now and because I think naturally we find ourselves in that position where we want to fix it. We want to make it better. We want to stop the pain. So it's like, what can I do? Like, you want to do this, you want to do that, and it's like, and you can see it's like nothing working, and it's just so hard, man. It's just hard to be there. And I think sometimes what we miss because we have that characteristic is sometimes because even though we can't fix it, we can still be there in the midst of the mess. Sometimes just standing in the midst of the shit with the person, like, makes all the difference.
Right. Right. You said so much in that respect, Marvin. I remember when you had your loss, you know what I mean? You called me, you know what I mean? I don't know if I was one of the first people you told or whatever, but like, it was one of those things where I was just kind of like, I don't want to say I was numb to it, but at the same time, like, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, you know what I mean? Like, this was the first time anybody has come to me with this. So it was just like, go get them, slugger. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what to say to that. I saw Jen later on, and it's just like, I'm praying for you, but like, that's all you can kind of give someone in that space. And then, what was it? 6 months later, almost.
Not even.
Yeah.
Like, that was April, and then we turned around. We didn't tell nobody for a while, but like the end of July, turned around, she's pregnant again.
Right.
I had to tap. Literally, it was crazy. I had one of my cousins text me and was just like, "Is Jen pregnant?" We had no idea. Mm-hmm. She was, and I got a text message at the same time she was taking the pregnancy test in the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And so I still have a picture on my phone where it's a picture of the text message on my phone beside the positive pregnancy test. Mm. And I was like, yo, and then from there, like, go to the doctor and like, everything's good. And so, and now Marvin's here. Now he's in kindergarten.
Yeah. So how was that experience as far as like the pregnancy after losing one? Like, what was that?
It was nervous, It was nervous, just like every doctor's appointment, just, is everything all right? With the heartbeat looking like, okay, all right, 137, 145, okay. It's just, you're just trying to figure out, okay, what we got to do to, make sure, I was just like, I ain't gonna do nothing. Like, I'm just fall back, just, hey, what you need, just sit down.
Right.
Don't get up. That way I got it. Don't worry.
No sudden movement.
Yeah. Like, I'm just like, just trying to figure out, like, just, because I don't know cause before, so it's just like, you're just trying to manage everything. And then trying to support her because, of course, she's nervous as well. She's like, this happened before, is this going to happen again?
Right.
Like, that's the question,
That's crazy because I'm dealing with it now because my wife is actually pregnant. So
she pregnant right now?
She pregnant right now.
That's dope, bro. Congratulations on that. Yeah, congratulations on that. Yeah.
So she actually, I had asked before I came on. She was like, "Yeah, you can put it out there." I was like, "I don't know." So she actually pregnant right now, and that's what we're dealing with because she's constantly like, and they say like every pregnancy isn't the same pregnancy.
Right.
So she's constantly like, I don't know, I don't feel right, I don't know, and I'm sitting here like, you good, you're fine, it's gonna be all right, it's gonna be okay, and then it's like, I'm like, I need to make sure I'm at every appointment, I need to make sure that she's not cleaning this, I gotta make sure that she's doing this, and then on top of her dealing with work issues, I'm like, hey, calm down, don't listen to the work, right. You good, you fine.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you're doing the right thing, Solid. You know what I mean? Like you said, Marvin said, like you're trying to manage everything.
Right,
like every variable you could kind of
try to juggle.
Juggle. Like you take that on, and real talk, like that's another stress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's a good stress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're trying to bring something forth, but at the same time, it's still something on your shoulders. And I know you say everything's gonna be all right. That's what you want to tell her, but you don't know that.
You don't know. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're trying to comfort. You know what I mean? In the same respect.
Call me a liar.
Right. Right.
You said.
Exactly. She woke up like this morning. She woke up and she was like, "I feel different." I'm like, "It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't stress it." And it's like she's stressing every point, and then I'm sitting here and I started to stress every point. And
right.
I'm like, "Is it gonna be all right?"
Yeah.
Let me keep my faith. It's gonna be all right. She's pregnant because she was trying for a long time afterward. We waited probably like a couple of months and we was trying, and then we was like, we just gonna stop. And then she ended up being pregnant. And then we dealing with this, and we like, what's gonna happen?
Right. Like, well, I know for every pregnancy is different. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Every single one of them, just like the child that comes out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it's a completely different experience. So my advice in this moment in time is just to enjoy the moments that you have with your pregnant wife. You know what I mean? Like, and just don't, I understand it's a hard thing to say, don't be negative or don't think about what happened before, but at the same time, man, like, enjoy the space y'all are in. Yeah. You know what I mean? The times she do feel different. Like, well, what do you feel? You know what I mean? Like, have her experience it, because this is a beautiful time in her life as well. You know what I mean? Like, she's still a mother. I try to tell, even though you might not have a physical child here, like, you are pregnant, you're still a mother. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and that maternal energy is real, man. So, You know, that's dope. You know we're gonna pray for you before we get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and make sure you covered. You know what I mean? But I know for a minute, like me and you talked to you on the phone. You know what I mean about your infant loss and that experience. I think yours is unique. You know, why don't you tell me about that, because you had several. You know what I mean? So, like, what was that like?
So, wife and I got married November of 2012, November 10th, 2012. But we had dated for some time throughout college from the same hometown. But so got married, and then I'll never forget, it was February of the next year. Mm-hmm. And
so like 4 months later.
Like 4 months later, right? Now, first of all, I'm still trying to figure out how to be a husband.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I was figure out how to be a husband. You know, I didn't have my father in my life, so you know, I didn't have a lot of models, and so I'm still trying to figure out how do I love my wife as a husband. And so dealing with that and scared, like, what in the world? What am I doing? I'm married. I gotta be a husband. So all of that was just playing on me too. So then, literally 4 months later, I never forget, we had some friends at the house, and they were staying for a couple of days, and then we were preparing to go and eat. And so Janae comes. No, I think she calls me upstairs. We were in a townhome, and she calls me upstairs and says, or just shows me the pregnancy test. And I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
Like, cause I mean, it was.
What you want me to do with that?
It was out the blue. You know what I'm saying? It was out the blue, and so I was, you know, I put on a smile. But if I'm being honest, I was scared as hell.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, I'm trying to be a husband now. Then this pregnancy test, now I got to be a father too.
Yeah.
So I just remember, like during that time, Janae started being in so much pain. And I had never seen my wife in that much pain before. And so it was, I think it was her right side. She was like, something is not right. And went to the doctor. And basically, after some time, they were first saying that, oh, everything's cool. But after some time, we realized, or they told us that, you know, something is going on. And essentially, the first pregnancy was an ectopic pregnancy. So the embryo was in her tubes. And so we had to make a decision to terminate the pregnancy, because had we not, she was running the risk of her tubes rupturing. And that would have prevented us from ever being able to have kids. And I just remember Janae just really feeling some type of way and down about it, because she had started doing like videos. I don't know if I remember Beyonce when she got pregnant, she was like doing little videos, messages for the baby. And Janae had started doing that. And so it was just heartbreaking for her. But as a man, you're trying to be strong, and I didn't know how to grieve that time. I mean, and so she felt like I was relieved that the pregnancy didn't go through.
That's a whole.
I mean, really. And so,
And
I didn't know how to communicate. It's not that I was relieved, because I was grieving it, but honestly, I was just scared. And I didn't know how to communicate that to my wife at the time. And so literally, so that was the first one. And then we had to deal with 4 other miscarriages. And it was literally, I'm talking about, we got married in November for 2 years straight. It was miscarriage back to back to back to back. And so that second one, or the third one, I remember we, you know, and then like you were saying, like I ain't want to tell anybody. So after that first one, we weren't telling anyone. Our family knew. And I think, Marvin, we, at one point we were, well, when now my beautiful baby girl, Maya, when we were able to conceive and sustain the pregnancy, I think her and Jamie, we talked about it, they were pregnant around the same time. But prior to that, man, it was 4 miscarriages. And I think that third one, I'll never forget when we had to terminate the pregnancy, because you know, there were different issues going on. It wasn't being sustained. I can't remember all of the lingo, but I remember like the blood was not, something wasn't increasing, and it's supposed to increase, and it wasn't. So they were like, you know, either you can continue to come to these appointments and figure it out, or you have to terminate. And I remember that third one, we were in the emergency room or in the hospital, and Janae just kind of looked at me and said, "I'm sorry." And I think she was blaming herself for not being able to sustain the pregnancy. And then at the time, my pastor at the time actually came to the hospital, and he was saying, y'all are making the right decision. And he was there. I just remember, you don't really remember too much of what was said, but I would just remember him being present.
Yeah.
And then it was one of those times when we had to terminate. I remember going back to my office at the church, and the minister of music at the church was like, "What's the verdict?" And I remember falling in his arms and just bawling, crying. And I never displayed any emotions to my wife, and I know that she resented that or felt as if I wasn't grieving.
Yeah.
But I thought as a husband,
you gotta
as
be
a man, like
yeah.
I gotta be the rock. I gotta show that I'm strong. I can't, let you know. And really, ultimately, that's what she desired. She desired for my emotions to be displayed. But I'm thinking as a husband, like you don't show that. And so, like, real for it, man, like when those pregnancies, when we kept losing pregnancies or whatever, I remember during that time, if you're on social media, everybody was getting pregnant. Everybody was getting pregnant, and I'm like, what in the world, man? And I'm not a jealous type person, but if I'm keeping it a stack, I was looking and I was starting to get jealous.
Right.
Looking at everybody, like, and then they have these announcements, and then I'll never forget that those two friends that were at my house, they actually had got pregnant.
Wow.
And then I remember they invited us to their baby shower. And not knowing we had just experienced another miscarriage, like literally a couple days before.
Wow.
And so I didn't know how to say to them, this is not a good time, we can't come. And so that actually put some tension in our relationship. That's not what I wanted, but I didn't know how to communicate. I was actually trying to look out for my wife.
Yeah.
Because I knew she couldn't emotionally take attending a baby shower after you just had a miscarriage.
And people don't understand that.
People don't get that, man.
They don't get that part.
Or another thing, like people, when you get married and people not knowing, what's going on with you as far as pregnancy, people kept asking, when y'all gonna have a child? Not knowing, like my wife just had, I keep saying my wife, we just had a miscarriage.
Right.
And you keep
I like
asking,
that correction, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes as men, I think we say, it's we both feel that.
Right? Yeah.
We just had a miscarriage. They didn't understand that. Yeah. And so it was hard, man. It was a hard time going from back to back. I mean, this was like in a span of 2 years or 4 different miscarriages. And so now we do have a beautiful baby girl, but that last kind of pregnancy, if you will, I remember every doctor's appointment, I was scared as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, any little thing, I was scared. I just knew something was going to go wrong. I didn't want to talk about the pregnancy. I lived in fear for 9 months, if I'm honest. And so, just when I think back on that time, I realized I was grieving, and my wife may have thought that I wasn't grieving. But also, to your point, what you said, I think both of you guys said, I was like, maybe this is punishment. And the reason why I thought this was punishment, if I'm keeping it 100, is because my now wife, we were dating in college, and she got pregnant in college, and we didn't keep the baby.
That was the decision.
She got an abortion. And honestly, that decision was mostly mine because I was in church, and I thought I had this image to portray. You know what I'm saying?
That's a whole other conversation, brother. Like,
got some steak over there.
I can't be this minister on campus, and I never walked around with like a Bible or quote scripture, but people viewed me as like the minister on campus.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there thinking like, my sophomore year, I can't, have a baby out of wedlock. So it was mostly me. Yeah. The pressure of trying to please church folk. So my sophomore year, we had an abortion. And so in my mind, I was thinking, this must be God punishing me for that abortion. And I had to reframe what I thought about God and realize that, I came to God and asked for forgiveness and to my wife. And I just don't believe that we serve a God that operates like that.
Right. That's the
We
part.
serve a God of grace and love and mercy and forgiveness. But I didn't forgive myself.
Yeah.
Can we talk like the anger
Yeah.
with God that you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like
I was mad. And here I am in Richmond, I'm like, man, I'm working with youth, I'm in underserved communities, I'm preaching the gospel. How dare you allow this to happen?
man, I was trying to get mine. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Man,
Yeah.
My father wasn't there, so I have an opportunity to be a father. And so I thought, again, it was God humbling me in so many ways because, the first time, it was the ectopic pregnancy and, we had to do what we had to do.
right.
Then I was like, okay, now this second time I'm ready. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then still.
It was like
Still.
the Geico commercial to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got this. Okay, God. Now I'm ready to have a baby.
Yeah.
And so she gets pregnant, boom, another miscarriage. So I was like, yo, what is this all about? So there was just so many elements of pain and fear and heartache and not understanding. And again, not being able to fully communicate my feelings to my wife. Which resulted in a lot of resentment. And I wasn't purposely trying to do that. I thought I was doing the right thing.
Right.
No,
You know what I mean? So
I feel you on that because I was the same way with them too. Like she kept, why you ain't showing your emotions? Why you don't show it? And I'm just like, man, I'm good.
Yeah.
But I really got emotions, but I'm like, I can't express it because it's gonna make you break down, gonna
Right.
make you regret it, gonna make you.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, nah, I'm just gonna hold it on. I'm good. I'm here for us. We gonna be fine.
It's
I definitely.
So I would break down in the car.
right.
You know,
right.
Exactly.
I would break down by myself, but I never allowed my wife to see me break down. Except that one time was one of the miscarriages. Our parents came up, my mom and her mom and dad, and I'll never forget they were leaving, and I hugged my mom and said, "I'm so tired," and we both just broke down. And so that was one time that she saw me, being emotional. And I feel like I'm a very emotional guy. My wife said, I cried a minute.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and my wife knows that about me, but it was during that time I felt like I couldn't.
Yeah.
And I know that put a strain on our relationship and our marriage, but I thought I was doing the right thing.
Because I think what we think about emotions is that, oftentimes what we miss about like kind of expressing our emotions, I think as men, is that expressing our emotion actually deepens the bonds that we have with our spouse, with our significant other, right? So when they see us in those moments, we think that they're going to see us as weak,
Right.
when actually it's really the most human thing that you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But we've had this like kind of disconnect in society that we kind of fight with, and I can't cry.
Yeah.
I can't let anybody see me going through.
Because we live in a culture, we created these male constructs.
Yeah.
That this is
Crying isn't masculine.
Right.
It's not
You
masculine.
don't do this as a man. You don't cry. You don't show emotions. You stay strong.
We're brought up in that. Yeah.
That's true.
If you do any of that, you're seen as weak. And so during those moments, I thought, this is how I'm going to be strong in front of my wife, right? During these miscarriages.
And not only like strength, but like just I can remember like having a good day and coming home and like whatever went out, you know what I'm saying? Just having a good day, and she looking at you like, what are you smiling at? What is funny?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like that feeling like an act of betrayal, just having a good day. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have hit the lotto for $200. Yeah, it's so stupid. You know what I mean? Like just put a smile on your face for a moment, and you mess around and come home. You know what I mean? And you're happy, and you know what I mean for a fragment of time, and they see that as like what are you know what we're going through. You know what I'm saying? So like you can't. It's almost like you can't be too sad or too happy. You're just in this limbo space of I'm okay, but I'm not, but you good, and I'm not, but I can't show you that. You know what I mean? Like it's just a constant, you know, trying to gauge where they are. You know what I mean? Like
and it was hard because we love people. Me and my wife, we love people. And during that time, it was extremely hard to be genuinely happy. And that's not who I am. That's not who we are. So literally, man, it was hard. I mean, going to baby showers, looking at TV about babies and all these different things. I mean, it was. I remember getting several baby shower invitations, and I would shield my wife from them.
Oh, I know that.
I would shield my wife from them because I knew she was not in a space to receive an invitation to go to a baby shower. And guess what? I wasn't either.
Yeah.
But I said I have to absorb this. So, I mean, really, it caused
But did
a
you?
strike. I thought I did. I thought I did. It caused a strike between me and some of my friends because I didn't know how to communicate to them that
We love y'all.
we love y'all,
We
but
just can't do this.
yeah, I didn't know how to communicate that because I thought it was selfish. Like I couldn't say I love you, but we're not in a place emotionally where we can come to your baby.
Can we talk about how it's okay to be selfish though?
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's a whole different.
And it's not. I don't even think it's selfish. I think it's just self-care.
Self-care, exactly.
That's self-care is not selfish. Self-care is making sure that you are in your best possible space and you're at your, at the best that you can be in that moment in time. And if the best that I can be at this moment in time is not at your baby shower, then I don't need to be at your baby shower.
Yeah, right.
Like, and it's not anything personal, but you just gotta, if you're my friend, if you're somebody who cares about my well-being overall, then you give me that space and you give me the benefit of the doubt to say, okay, they're not coming. It's a reason they're not coming. They only gonna send a gift, and tell people like, I'll send you a gift, or whatever. But we just can't be in that place in there celebrating.
Yeah.
That in light of what we're dealing with and what we're facing in this moment, it's just too much.
So trying to be there and celebrate life when we just experienced death.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was I couldn't fathom.
And if you can't be happy with somebody in that, like if you genuinely cannot be happy with somebody in that space, it's really no point in
bringing your energy.
I'm doing you. Because I'm gonna be in this joint like this.
Let me get a plate.
Just give me the meatball. Just give me the meatball.
I'm finna mention
some deviled eggs.
Baby, you can take all my clothes, man. I don't care.
So like, man, that's wild, man. Like, you touch on so many elements that, like, I think a lot of us deal with. Like, and I just want to pivot for a second because, Marvin, you experienced your first loss in 2014, and and then you were pregnant again in July. We experienced our loss in October of 14. You know what I mean? And and this is just keeping it 1,000. You know what I mean? Like when Marvin was born, like I remember he was born the weekend I was supposed to do your baby shower.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I was supposed to do your baby shower that weekend, and you were like, I don't know if we're gonna even do the baby shower because like Jen's going into labor.
But she's literally about to have a baby.
Right. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, bro, like, do what you gotta do, blah, 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 blah. But like,
he was relieved. He was like, I don't know.
real talk, like, leading up into that, like, it was one of the hardest events I had to prepare myself for.
Yeah. Because I say this, like, in retrospect, like, even thinking about it, like, in some ways, it was inconsiderate of me to ask you to do it. But it was inconsiderate. It was inconsiderate on one hand because, on one hand it was inconsiderate. On the other hand, I was like, I'm trying to support family business and make sure and out there.
And at the same time, like I'm taking it on, like I'm trying to support my cousin, my brother. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? In this space as well, and like, and just to keep it like we keeping it a stacking here, like it was very hard for me and John to look at Marvin when he was born.
Yeah.
It was hard.
That's real.
That's real, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't come to his first birthday party.
Yeah.
because like we were still like dealing. You know what I'm saying? Like it was hard.
And like you saying like
my daughter
thinking what could have been.
My daughter's supposed to be Autumn is supposed to be the same age as little Marvin right now.
They got together.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So like having to see the stages grow up, like that's the part that like we don't consider on the back end. You know what I'm saying? Like that you have to deal with. Like we've healed beyond the space of that now, but like during, that's one of the things I couldn't be like, as much as we talk, as deep as we go into, it's the first time I've admitted that. You know what I'm saying? And like, I love MG3.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like with everything in me, but like at that moment in time, like,
it's hard, man.
Bruh, like that shit was just so fucking like,
slap in the face.
Yeah.
It's like you can't be happy for somebody.
I mean, it's hard.
You can't be happy and like, and you want to be. You want to be so.
You want to be happy.
You want to support them. You want to like smile. Like you want to do all those things, but you can't.
Yeah.
And like you don't know how the other person will respond because at the end of the day, like that's your child. You're protective of that.
Yeah.
And you don't want to break that bond. But at the same time, like you're dealing with your own shit. Yeah. Everything else you're like, man, like
and we don't want to project our negative feelings,
right?
Our pain onto somebody else. You deserve to be happy.
You deserve the happess, especially knowing what you went through.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
To get to this point, you deserve to be happy. So like, just the whole like, you just it's one of those things where you just never know what people are going through.
Never know.
And then allow people grace in every moment. When you think people are doing you wrong, just allow them just that much grace.
That much grace, man.
That's interesting to consider because now I think like, man, maybe Marvin knew. Maybe Marvin was looking out.
Yo, like, and we'll even get into ever following back. We'll get into that later, man.
That's wild.
Darian, when I talked to you on the phone, your story like went a whole different route. Because we're talking about babies that like we thought about and we dreamed about and that were, you know what I'm saying, like fantasies in a sense. Whether they were stillborn and we had to look at them, whether they were miscarriages and you know you just never knew what their face or their voice sounded like.
Yeah.
You actually experienced the life of your child, like talk just.
For starters, I don't even know how to like follow these cats. Like,
ain't nothing to follow up. There's just nothing to follow up.
I don't. So, where do I start? Okay, so for me personally, I've always wanted to be a father. Like that was my dad was like doing this thing or whatever, but I always wanted to be a father. That was big for me. So that just let that sit for a little bit. So anyway, fast forward, I meet my wife, and she was the love of my life. It was like one of those love at first sight kind of things.
Yeah.
It was weird, like it was crazy. My cousin introduced us. It was like son and Jesus and all that.
Sunshine.
She smiled.
I didn't get the Hall of Nights reference. Sunshine.
It was crazy. If it was somebody, I would have said I ain't coming home.
Right.
But so met her, and we hit it off well. We had a really cool courtship, whatever case may be. Fast forward, we moved to Chicago. She graduated, and we moved to Chicago. And of course, we're doing everything that leads up to a baby. So we get pregnant, right?
Go in greater detail.
Enjoying each other.
Right.
Motherfucker.
Right.
It's amazing.
Right.
anyway, so we wind up with getting pregnant. It didn't go over too well with her family, but that's a whole nother side story. But so we got pregnant, this, that, and the other. So we went 8 months. I made every doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
Remember I said, one thing I really wanted was to be a father.
Yeah.
I want to be everything. Not saying that I didn't love my dad, but I want to be everything that he was. That makes sense?
That's a whole other dinner.
That's a whole other dinner. I did not miss one appointment. I went to every appointment. But here's the catch. Every appointment we went to, everything checked out. Everything checked out. Right? Everything checked out. Like we had all stars, everything. And so we're in Chicago, everything going good. And we're like, you know what? I think we're going to settle down here. So we started looking for houses to buy.
Yeah.
Right? So we was in a townhome. We was looking to buy a townhome. So we went to a townhome. I'm doing all the man stuff. You know, I'm under the cabinets. I'm checking the pipes. And,
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the realtor led my wife down to the garage. I don't know why. And so the railing ended 4 stairs before the bottom of the stairs, and she did not turn the light on for whatever reason. I don't know. So that's blame 1 for me. I'm like, I wasn't there. I should have been there, kind of thing. How the hell did I let this shit happen? So anyway, so my wife ended up falling down the stairs, and you know, she falls. The realtor, you know, she screams. So I come running, this, that, and the other. And my wife was a very proud lady, so she didn't want to go to the hospital. She's like, I'm fine, I'm okay. Just
I want this house.
I want this house. So anyway, so I ended up convincing her to go to the hospital. So we went to the hospital, emergency room, and lo and behold, they hook her up, everything, and all of our daughter's stats are like low. Everything's different. Like it was like going from seeing like a grade A, you know, everything, to like, what is this? Somebody switched my daughter. I don't know what the hell this is, but this ain't.
Right.
Get another.
Right.
I need another opinion. I need somebody else. This is not the shit I just saw 2 weeks ago.
Right.
What is this? So anyway, so we find all this out. My wife is scared, so I immediately go into, I gotta be strong for everybody. Right? That kind of thing. And you kind of hear it in my voice because it's like, this shit is like fresh. Even though it was like 13 years ago or some shit, right? Anyway, so my wife was in the hospital for 3 weeks or so, something like that, and we had to schedule a C-section, so on and so forth. And the crazy thing is, take a step back, is we even had like a 3D ultrasound. You ever?
Yeah.
That shit looked perfect. Like, they still got the picture still put up. Like, I don't know what happened. Anyway, so my wife ended up. So we have a scheduled C-section, whatever. My wife had my daughter, and they tried to prepare us a little bit, but it just wasn't. You know, nobody can really tell you. Right. So she had her, this, that, and the other. She came out, and she wasn't breathing in the beginning, whatever case may be. But they finally got her breathing. So, I don't know, maybe a few hours after that, they kind of came to us and said, we don't know if your daughter's going to make it. You know, one of those kind of things. So, I'm like, what the hell's going on? I always wanted to be a father. I found a woman of my goddamn dreams, you know what I mean? And I'm just having this battle with myself, battle with the Lord. Like, I know, y'all don't know this, but I had a crazy past. Karma should have kicked me in my ass like 19 times. You know what I'm saying? I did all kind of shit. I'm not. Anyway. We won't even get in that because statute of limitation.
I'll cook another dinner later on. Have a conversation.
But I was going through this whole thing. But anyway, so we find out this, that, and the other. So we go through all that thing, and they give us this laundry list of things that's wrong with her. From microcephaly to, it was a bunch of stuff. And every time, going down the list, they would read something. I I could just feel my wife's heart breaking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just, what did she do wrong? What did I do wrong? So on and so forth. So they came to us a little later. They leave it alone for a little bit, and so they came to us maybe a few hours later, and they said, you know what? You guys could save her if you can make it to MCV. Mm-hmm. Like, we in Chicago. What the fuck is MCV?
That's just down the street.
Where's that? Right. Anyway, so we looked at each other. They kind of told us where it was. We looked at each other. Was like, you know what? Yeah,
we're going.
So we packed up in a matter of a day. We got one of her sorority sisters to help us drive because we had a couple vehicles, and we made it here to Richmond. And this is not articulate at all. This is a crazy story. I didn't even know this was even going to come out like this. But, so we made it here to Richmond, MCV, and that kind of gave us some hope.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of gave us some hope. They was able to do some of their magic or whatever the case may be. But anyway, so we're here. We made it to Richmond. Everything's going relatively well. Me and my wife kind of dealing with this, but I'm still trying to be strong for her.
Yeah.
Because every day she looked like, see her in the world, whatever the case may be. Really, really rough. Really, really rough. Excuse me. Really, really rough time. And lo and behold, our family, both of our families really wasn't there for us like we needed to.
Yeah.
And they damn sure wasn't saying the shit we needed to hear. That makes sense?
Yeah.
It was kind of bad in that area, in that space, but we kind of dealt with it, whatever the case may be. But I will say this: in that time frame that we had with our daughter, we took her everywhere, right? Like we went to the mall, we did everything. We went everywhere we could possibly go and try to make it as normal, having a child as possible. Right. You know what I mean? And man, I'm sorry, but this is not coming out how I thought it was going to come out. But
it's coming out the way it's supposed to. It's coming out the way it's supposed to.
But yeah, so we just had a daughter. She didn't talk. She didn't cry. She didn't do anything. She was just kind of, she was just kind of there. It was weird. She did kind of make this noise though. And that kind of gave me some comfort. It's kind of a squeaky noise. But I mean, I cared for her. I did everything I could possibly do.
You were a father.
And one thing I definitely did is I overcompensated for everything. For my wife, everything. Just because this was happening, I was trying to be strong for her. So when she was not there, of course, I would have my moments. But when she was, at the house with us, or whatever the case may be. I was just no emotion, this, that, and other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, how are you? Da, 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 da. So, anyway, I ended up, it worked out where I ended up being her caregiver too. Because, of course, she was on hospice because there was no hope for her even making it.
Okay.
So as soon as we got here, they did whatever, but some of the therapy and some of the stuff they was able to do, some of the treatments they did, it was able to extend her. Right. As long as they could. Right. But as she grew, she couldn't sustain herself. Right? So it's one of those kind of weird things.
So as she grew,
she got older, as the months passed, she couldn't sustain her bodily function.
Okay.
Because her brain was only so big, it only had so much function,
Yeah.
Man, this is crazy. Anyway, so I'm trying to figure out where the hell I was at. But
take your time, man.
I didn't know that it was even gonna be like this.
Take your time, bro.
Anyway, so in being her caregiver and spending as much time with her as possible and trying to be everything for my wife, that was so stressful. Like that was so, I don't even know how I made it. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of things. Like it's crazy. Anyway, And I think too, it kind of built up a little bit of, in a weird way, a little bit of resentment too, because I was able to be there more for our daughter than my wife was. You know what I mean? It's like this weird kind of thing going on there. But anyway, so we had a couple mishaps. So one big mishap was, so Thanksgiving came. Matter of fact, my daughter's birthday was 7/27/06. So that's when she was born. That was her day. So anyway, so Thanksgiving, you know, a few months after that, Thanksgiving rolled around, we were at my cousin's house, and she happened to roll herself over. And my wife was like asleep, and I happened to walk in the room, and I found her, whatever the case may be, and I immediately you know, started CPR and something else because she had turned blue, like she had no color.
Oh wow!
Right? She had turned over, and she couldn't turn herself back over because she really couldn't move.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I was able to perform CPR, whatever the case may be, successfully. We took her to the hospital, and I was able to save her that one time. Yeah. So that was, I guess you could think it was cool, but you know, I was able to do what I need to do. I was able to save her. I was able to keep everything together. I was able to keep our family intact. You know, so that was that, and it was an experience where we made it through, and I was like, one of those things where if I could do that, if I could save her this time, then I can save her every time. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I felt. You know, like maybe this shit is gonna be okay.
I know what to do.
Yeah. Maybe this stuff is gonna be okay. But so fast forward. Her, she would always make this squeaking noise, and I was a light sleeper, whatever the case may be. But fast forward, and one night I heard that she wasn't breathing. I didn't hear that noise, so it made me jump up. Now, well, let me take a step back. So we had her on oxygen for a minute. So she was on oxygen towards the end, like month 6, she was on oxygen. And her doctor went out of town on vacation, and her oxygen ran out. And because of some red tape or some technicality bullcrap, they wouldn't give us another oxygen tank. Because they
some healthcare system bullshit.
Because they couldn't get a cop. Yes, the healthcare system is bullshit.
Right.
I just want you to know, we was in a side note, but we was in a donut hole where we made too much money to get assistance, but we didn't make enough money. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Come out of pocket.
Come out of pocket.
Right.
Which was fucking, like, some of the shit she needed was like, it was a shot she needed. It was like $1,000 fucking bucks.
Right, yeah. I mean, like, that's cool, but like,
cool, but
at the end of the day, like, it gotta come from somewhere.
It gotta come from somewhere. So, and we was just kind of starting out. So it was rough. So the healthcare system really needs some revamping.
But
anyway, but so we so they wouldn't give us no oxygen. So we raised hell, this, that, and the other, but they still wouldn't give it to us. So we're back at the house. So fast forward, it's that night. So, you know, I'm in the bed, whatever the case may be, and you know that you get accustomed to her. I got accustomed to hearing her. You know what I mean? It kind of being able to hear her allowed me to go to sleep. Kind of, you know what I mean? Anyway.
Shoot up at Johns Hopkins University. They do their thing. They looking at their ultrasounds, you know, all that kind of stuff, and all the doctors are looking at it like, this is amazing. You know what I mean? Like they're very like into it, and like we're looking at like, yo, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and what they told us was that our daughter at the time was like maybe 4 or 5 months in, had a vestibular-allantoic cyst. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I have no idea what that means. All I know, but I remember it. Like it's like ingrained into my mind. You know what I'm saying? And but basically it was a cyst on the umbilical cord that was blocking blood, getting to like a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, like they were like, if she makes it, she's gonna need, you know, several surgeries, this, that, and the third. And you know, me and my wife, we looked at each other. We just kind of like, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. Like, we made a decision between us that we were gonna see this through, whatever way it went. And like, that's just what we did. Now this cyst was the reason why the doctors were so like enamored by it, because this was only like the 6th documented case in history, and we were the first black couple to experience this. Like there were like 4 cases in China, like 1 in like, you know, white America, and then it was us. So you know, they on some like, what's the joint? What's the lady with the blood that was the universal donor? Like, I'm not universal donor. You know what I'm talking? I can't think of the lady's name, but they basically some with an H. I can't think of her name right now. Henrietta Lacks. You know what I mean? Like how they took her blood and found out it was a cure for everything, whatever it may be. Like I that's how we felt. Like they were just like, oh, this black couple has it now. Like, yeah. Like, oh, this is what, you know, this is going to be awesome. We can win Pulitzer Prize. I don't know. You win Pulitzer Prize? I don't know.
Science prize.
Right, science prizes for like making this. So like that's how we felt. We felt like an experiment, you know. But like inside, we were like, yo, this is our child. You know, like, give us some compassion.
Yeah, no compassion.
0. So, like, you know, they tell us what to do. Like, you know, go back home. If y'all want to turn to pregnancy, like, you can. If not, you know, this is what you're going to need. So, like, at the time, I had just came out of culinary school. I'm like, working at a restaurant. And, like, I'm going to be 100% with y'all, man. Like, we in a safe space. I was making $10 an hour. And, you know, fresh out of culinary school, I left the program director of a, you know what I mean? Like, you know, of a nonprofit organization where I was trying to build something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like something different for my family. And like, so my fear is off the roof. Like, not only can I provide, like, am I going to be able to take care of these surgeries? Am I going to be able to do whatever? You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm literally on the line at work. It's a gourmet chef. I'm working, you know what I mean? Gourmet chef sounds real fancy for making salads. You know what I mean? I was a salad maker. You know what I mean? So like, Shorty called me and was just like, you know, I had my doctor's appointment, couldn't find a heartbeat. Now, I'm in Fredericksburg. Doctor's appointment is in Richmond. I go to my suit and I'm just like, bro, like, they can't find a heartbeat. I don't know. He was just like, go. Get on the highway, shoot down. By the time I get down there, they're already telling her, like, your daughter's gone. Ain't nothing we can do. And I'm just like, okay, what do we do? And they're like, she's gonna have to pass this baby. So now, like, I'm standing, looking at her, as I know she's gonna have to give birth and not even give birth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it ain't shit you can do about it. Like, ain't nothing you can do about it but just sit there and like just watch. And like, I saw her, like I saw the hair on her fucking, I saw the hair on her arms. Or her head, like, you're watching this piece of you that look exactly like our daughter beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just still. It's just there. And like, you don't know what to do. Like, you don't want to look, you don't want to turn away. And they just ask you dumbass questions like, what do you want to do with the body? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just
Rush you along.
yeah, it's just like you just put you a part of the process, and I know that's their job. I'm not blaming, like, I know that's what they do, but like, you in it.
No minute.
They don't give you nothing. You know, like, you go to this room, like you said, you go to this room, we made this little room for you, you got a little cross in it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get on your knees if you want to, you know what I'm saying? But like, you don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like you're helpless. And we would talk about names the whole time, and like it was just like Autumn Clover. Like I know I loved it. I wanted Clover in her name. At the time, she was just like, no, that's fucking corny. You know what I mean? Like we're not naming her Clover, nothing. But like at the time when she was born, it was like the first. It was the autumn solstice, I believe it was. Like the day after.
Okay.
And then she was just like, I'm gonna give you your grace. You can name her Clover. So Autumn Clover became her name. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, with the spice, it happened all by accident, but it was just my way to pay homage to that experience. Like she was real to me. Though we don't see like like other people can't see the remnants of that person or that life or the life we even built for them. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless of what they were going to be, we as parents, we build lives for our children of what we think, expectations. Regardless if they not necessarily live up to them, but like I want to instill these values into you. And when you don't see those things come to fruition, it cuts it off, it yanks it away from you. So just like every last one of you brothers said, like I felt the guilt, like what the fuck did I do to like put myself in this position? And then like you start thinking about all the fuck shit you did back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like every experience you had, like just everything, and you begin to put it on yourself. And then you're looking at your woman. You know what I mean? Like the epitome of strength, the thing that gives you the substance to go out and move forward, and you seeing her break down. Like she ain't gonna even get mad. Like the self-medication to bringing home bottles of wine every night, just so she felt okay. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't know what to do. You just trying to make it all right in that moment in time. Like the reason why this dinner was so important for me, and like they're able to like cook this food up and like put it in front of you fellas, because like I lost my daughter on the 22nd of October. On the 24th, I had my first catering event in my life. So like it was a 30-person dinner for a 60th birthday. I had booked it before, got the deposit, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So like, one thing like I always tell my client, I tell people or people that are coming up, like, your clients don't give a fuck about what you got going on. They want their food when they contracted, just like the job, want their work done when it's time. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't care about nothing that's going on.
I know exactly.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't care about nothing that's going on in your life. This is my time, I paid for it, you gotta show up at your best. And my first catering event, date night chefs on my own, was 2 days after I lost her. So I had to like get myself in a space where I could cook for people. And like cooking for people is a very spiritual process.
Yeah.
You're giving people a piece of you. You're feeding people. Like it's a transference of energy that a lot of people don't understand, but I take seriously.
Yeah.
So like to go from 2 days before losing her to having to like put myself together enough to make that thing happen, to today, 6 years later, having a spice with her name on it. And we having this conversation right now. Like, it means something. And when I was doing so much research on trying to figure out who I could like donate to, who was doing the work already, that we could get this conversation and like these stories in the hand of there's nothing. There was nothing then, there's nothing now. And like, forgive me if I'm wrong, if there's somebody out there that got something, please, like, it's needed because like one thing I understand is that like anybody listen to the Big Sean album? Yeah. Everybody know the Big Sean album, Detroit 2?
Yeah.
He talked about it. He said in the line, I can't remember the line, but he talked about like that's why we had all those miscarriages. 444, Jay-Z's album. He talks about it. He talks about why he was like, I wasn't there for you. That's why we were having the miscarriages. So like the men are feeling this shit. Like we are feeling it. No one's there. But there's no resources there. There's no outlets to talk about the things that like we go through and we internalize it and we like pack it in and we put it away with everything else. And then people want to know why we're angry and when police brutality happens and we see the kids that we birthed go through the things you know what I'm saying? Like they don't see the trauma. You know what I'm saying? Like from start to finish.
And that's and from that point, and that's what I was talking about with how I started to feel like it was crazy. It was like God just started speaking and he was just like, hey, the pain that you feeling is what I feel every day from my kids being lost.
Right.
It's what I feel. So I'm letting you feel it. And it's just, like you said, there's nothing out there. And for me, like it hurt me so much because a lot of people, I'm the third. I'm the only boy. My brothers, my sisters, they got all girls. We was to have a boy.
Yeah.
And the boy was to carry the name.
Right.
So I felt like, dang, like, what did I do wrong that I'm not going to have a boy to carry on the name, our legacy? You know what I'm saying? And then you look out here and you see this police brutality and these kids getting killed and going through all this. And it's like, it's nothing there. There's no outlet. There's nobody to talk to.
Yeah.
It's nothing there.
It's one of the things where like I was getting frustrated because after we had Autumn, you know what I mean, that was, you know, devastating as well. But like then you're gonna experience this. It's called a rainbow baby. The baby after, you know what I mean, the loss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and like, you know, we got pregnant again. My son Ever, you know what I mean, he's an amazing little dude, man. Like he's just you know they're touched by something else.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You know they touched by something else. And like I remember like when Jonetta was pregnant with him, I have a picture of it in my phone. We were walking, like all through the year, we would see like random like dead leaves like on like, it don't matter what time of year, springtime, summertime, we would see these like dead leaves like in front of our pad. We would pick them up and we would put them on the mantle next to her ashes. Because we were like, yo, that's her. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason for us to have autumn leaves in the dead heat of summer right now in front of our pad. We're gonna pick it up, we're gonna put it on this mantle. And while we were pregnant with Ella, we were walking in the neighborhood and we were talking. It was the first day, matter of fact, it was the first day of autumn. Like, it was 10/21/15. No, 10/21. I don't know. I can't remember. It was the first day. It was like the first day of autumn that year, and we were walking in the neighborhood, and we were talking about the things we wanted for him, and this, that, and the third, and we found a leaf. My wife picked up the leaf. She's holding the leaf, like, oh, that's crazy. This, that, and the third, and then this black butterfly fucking floats over. That lands right on her stomach and just stays there. And we're both like so then like I had the wherewithal, like let me pull out my phone, fumbling with my phone, trying to get to my photo app, and I take a picture. Boom. And as I take the picture, the butterfly floats away. So I had just enough time to get that ingrained. You know what I'm saying? That moment, my wife at the time pregnant with my son, a black butterfly on her stomach with an autumn leaf holding in her hand. Like you can see the silhouette. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like you said, like you don't, if it's real for you, it's real for me. Like it's just, I knew at that time that everything was gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we had that. Is this going to happen?
Yep.
Is this going to come to fruition?
Yep.
Is this going to be the one that comes through? You know, and like that sent us on a whole nother path because after that John Hopkins experience, we didn't even trust doctors anymore.
Yeah.
We went straight midwives and doulas. You know what I mean? Like we were just like, nah, we going completely natural. We went and studied the Bradley birthing mechanisms. Like we went into classes. I became a Bradley birth coach, certified. You know what I mean? Like we had an Ever in a bathtub, naturally birthed, and I was the one that made sure my son came into this earth. You know what I mean? So like, we never know what the purpose is for these experiences at the time because it hurts so bad in those moments, like for whatever reasons, whether you feel guilt, trauma, loss, like whether you're looking at your lady, because like a lot of times like we look to them for strength, and when they're not there, and it's just like, okay, well I literally got to put on my big boy pants. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they realize that how much we look to them. As much as they look to us, it's a balance of energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We like to think of ourselves as the head of household and we run things and this, that, and the third, but like, ain't no household if it ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that energy ain't there. You know? So, I appreciate each one of you brothers for like being brave enough to come here and sit at this table and share because it's not gonna stop.
Right.
For every woman that experienced a miscarriage or a stillbirth, there's a dad on the other side of that.
Yeah.
And society tells us that when a child doesn't come into the world, especially black men, that we're already out of the pictures as far as society is concerned.
Right.
So when it doesn't happen, we're like, we can just go on about living our horrible lives. You know what I'm saying? Like,
let's move on.
Yeah.
Next project.
And that's not the experience at all. At all. So like, just doing the research and out of that, you know, Jonetta became a doula herself. I had her doing the research, trying to figure out an organization so we could donate proceeds from the art of Clover Spice to it. And like there was nothing there. There was nothing dealing with men's mental health on grieving infant loss specifically. There was a broad menshealth.com that I could donate to.
Yeah.
Now I knew that I was doing 100 bottles of this. I was selling it for $10.22. $2.22 was going to go to the organization. That ranges out to about $222. You know what I'm saying? Going to somewhere. That men's health organization was a huge umbrella.
Yeah.
That $222 wasn't going, it was going to be a drop in the bucket. Right. You know what I mean? Like, why did you send us this? You know what I mean? Like, but like, I remember being so frustrated and I remember getting out of my car. I had a haircut appointment. Your boy barbershop, shout out your boy barbershop, or put that in there, shameless plug. And I walked in and he had 4 of these books stacked up on his table. And I was literally on the phone, like, yo, there's no, like, who are we gonna donate to? This is just pissing me off. Like, this project is becoming harder than I expected it to be. And I walked in, it was 4 of those books laying on the table. I said, bro, I need one of those books right now. Tag it on to my haircut. I was like, who is he? And he said, James Harris, he's local. And I remember seeing the logo, I remember seeing the t-shirts, like some years back, with, you know what I mean, like him doing work. So I was just like, yo, who can put me in contact with this person? You know what I'm saying? So I put it out there, and like, I started getting tags from friends I knew that knew this gentleman before I could even put it all together. That's how I knew it was ordained.
Yeah.
That's how I knew this project had to keep going. And I was like, now, excuse me, this is the organization that could use $222.
Yeah.
Because it's local, it's here, somebody we can touch, it's tangible. He's already doing the work in men's mental health, and he's already in a grieving space. Now, I don't know, like I said, I'm a chef, you guys are ministers, you're a trainer, this, that, and the third, you're a mom. We don't have the capacity to move this conversation beyond pretty much what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And besides telling our stories.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, I knew coming together and telling our stories in this capacity, putting it on camera, just making sure it was told the right way and get into the right hands, that like somebody, a young man, that don't know where to turn, that experiences the same thing, could at least have some outlet in the future. I don't know how, I can't do the work. I'm not a mental health professional.
Right.
None of us are.
Right.
But we all have our lanes in which we affect people in whatever way possible. And I know this happens to guys in every single lane. We just don't talk about it because we don't feel safe to.
Yeah.
We don't feel like it's okay to emote in this level.
Yeah.
We don't feel like it's okay to feel like we failed our woman.
Yeah.
We don't feel.
To admit that there's something you can't protect them from.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we just want to be these strong individuals at every moment in time, and like we just aren't, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Just humans.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. But the resources in whatever capacity gotta be there. I didn't know how else to do it. Didn't know. I appreciate y'all, man.
Well, we appreciate, and I think I can speak on behalf of the fellas, man, like just open up the space for us to have permission to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know, in many ways, and in many spaces, we don't have that permission.
Right.
And that we can, that hopefully, somebody that gets a chance to eavesdrop on what we shared tonight and just kind of feel the emotion and the space, that they'll know that they have that same permission.
Yeah.
And as well as, even for significant other spouses, to also be cognizant that, you're not, like the only one going through it. All of these things kind of affect us. They're affecting everybody. And open up space for those conversations, because I think, to Darian's story, like, and to his experience, like when you can go through the dark together in that way,
Right.
Yeah.
that creates something. Whether you remain together in a relationship or not, it still creates a bond that is unique,
Right.
and that is important,
Right.
and that is powerful.
Yeah.
And so, hopefully this gives space for men and for women to
Right.
be able to just like, be safe, for people to express and emote and share.
Because I'm just sitting here thinking, man, I think this is the first, or you're the first person that asked me, how did I feel in that moment?
Right.
And then you created a space to where I could be vulnerable and transparent and to talk about it. I don't think I've ever really sat down. Now, I know I haven't sat down with a group of men and just discussed my emotions around all of those miscarriages and how I felt like I had to portray myself during those moments. It's just, I haven't been in a space like this. And so this is therapeutic. While, like you said, from a mental health perspective, I had to realize that although I wasn't communicating stuff to my wife and I tried to suppress some stuff, I was dealing with depression because of this. I mean, deep depression.
Oh, man.
Like, I mean, I haven't, and like you said, just wanting to be the father that you didn't have. My father wasn't there. And so, I'll never get in seminary as I was doing a lot of reflection. That's when I went through this deep depression, and I never really having a dream, you know, with the whole abortion and the child that was aborted. I dreamed about that child, and the child was saying, well, you did me just like your father. And then after having to experience the miscarriages, thinking that I would never be able to redeem myself and to be a father. And so dealing with that just brought on some deep depression. And I had to say to myself, like, as a man, like, it's okay that you need some additional help, to go and talk to a therapist or go and talk to someone to help you kind of deal with this stuff. But like you said, seeing my wife just go through that pain and her being so strong and that bringing us together, it's it's unique. It is unique where you experience, we've gone through so much together as a couple, and it's been hard and it was a strain, but you have to fight for what you want. And it's just challenging, man. But this is definitely therapeutic, and I know other men have dealt with this and just don't have this space.
And I think for me, it's like, even for me, I feel like it's definitely healing, and it's definitely shows that it can be a future with a child being born. Because even for me, like, all of you have a child now.
Yeah.
Even for me, my wife is 3 months, and I didn't know that I'm still dealing with some stuff, and like, until y'all started telling your stories. And I'm like, dang, I'm still kind of dealing with that, but I done pushed it down so deep inside and covered it up that now it's coming back, and I'm like, wow, like, I still deal with it.
Yeah.
And through your stories, it's helping me to be like, man, like, it's possible, you know what I'm saying, to have a child. It's helping me to be like, all right, don't worry so much. It's going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? It's helping me to say that it's okay to try. You know what I'm saying? You know, I lost 1, and then you said that you lost like 4. I'm like, dang, at the point I was saying scared, like, dang, I don't even know if we should even try again. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to think about it.
Think about it, right?
You know what I'm saying? And just for you to say, like, I have a child, it's like sitting here and telling me, and it's like, dang, like, we can have a child. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a healing. This definitely has been a very healing process, and you did the right thing. You know what I'm saying? This was needed. You know what I'm saying? It definitely was needed.
Absolutely. You in your spot, man. Now you got position to say, look, man, I know I got 4 other cats I can reach out to.
Right.
When I hit a moment when it just kind of get really hard. I'm
Right.
like struggling with, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, is it particularly like when it gets close to, like, you know, saying that same time frame.
Yep.
You get nervous and
Yep.
like, and, you know, one of the things is, you know, therapy's been helpful. One of the things what therapist says to me is like the body remembers. So when you've experienced, because essentially what that is an emotional trauma. So
Yeah,
like,
right.
when you experience that, like your body remembers it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And
It's muscle
gonna come back,
memory.
you're gonna be like, you're gonna be like, why am I feeling like this? But now you can pinpoint and say, oh, okay, I get it. It's
Right.
this right here. I need to have a conversation. I need to talk to my wife and say, hey, check with her because she's gonna be feeling the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I need to reach out to some cats and just have a conversation, just to kind of clear the air and kind of get my energy and my thoughts in the right space, in the right direction, so that, you know, so that we can keep it positive and keep a positive energy flowing. You know?
Man, and as I'm working on my healing process and you know, just trying to get through life still as a man, you know, I have a beautiful baby girl who's now 5. And what I've had to do this year is even deal with some stuff and understand my wife at a deeper level, because I have a desire to have another child.
Yeah.
But my wife doesn't have that same desire. Now, initially I was upset.
Yeah.
But now I understand, because she went through a lot physically.
Right.
With 4 miscarriages and your tube almost rupturing, and so I get it. And then stuff we went through in college, and so I've really had to settle and accept, hey, what might come out of this. And so am I hopeful? Yeah, because if God did it before, I believe God can do it again.
Yeah.
However, I understand where my wife is coming from, where I get, and so I'm not trying to push or press. Now I'm gonna do what we supposed to do to get one.
And keep practicing.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna practice it right. I mean, I'm embracing all of that. However, I have to say, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna practice,
Right.
but I understand, and so what my prayer has been, Lord, I have a desire for another child, but if not, allow me to persevere and to endure, or even to take the desire away. If that's not your will.
Right. Right.
But it's hard. I mean, so I'm saying, man, there are times I have to talk to Darren about that, and we just need other men to be able to discuss those things.
That was just my whole process, man. Like, I think just doing the whole thing, I just felt so alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I knew one other guy that experienced it was Marvin, and like, even, you know, our situations were different, so I even felt like he couldn't even understand.
Yeah.
And at the same time it happened, he was experiencing, you know what I mean? He was in the midst of a pregnancy going, and so you don't want to be like, nigga, I'm hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so like, it's just one of those things where like, as we begin to have the conversation later on in life, then it's just like, oh, bruh, you know, he had one too. And so-and-so had a joint. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like,
it's not discussed.
It's nobody said any of this.
The other piece too, you know, people mean well, but then they make certain statements that are harmful.
Right.
I mean, that's not helpful, or, you know, well, you can try.
You can try again.
You can try again, or at least. I mean, I can only imagine. Go ahead, Dan.
I'm gonna say this. I'll say this to you. So this kind of touch bases on you too. So I'm very similar to you in the sense of, if I didn't have a son, I was like the last. Like, that was it. It was a wrap. The whole Ball legacy was over. So when we had Kayla, so to back up, when we had our first daughter, my wife almost died during that delivery. When we had Kayla, again, and when we had Brennan, even though she was a little reluctant to have another, you know, to even try, but between me and the Lord saying this is what it's going to be, and she had no choice.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that she was going to keep trying with me, reluctantly, but she was going to keep trying until I got that boy. Because she knew how important that was. So if your wife is anything remotely like her wife is supposed to be, I won't say like mine, but anything, that he'll come.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You just gotta keep being there for her. You gotta keep trying to be there for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? That makes sense, because a lot of times we ain't even there for ourselves. Like, we're so selfless.
Yeah.
Like, damn me, let's take care of everybody else.
Yeah.
He'll come. Just don't give up on the ideal of a son.
The thing you want, like, the thing about it is like just providing space. That's one thing I learned about, you know, just dealing with women in general. Like, it's not your job to make them happy; it's your job to provide an environment so they can be happy on their own.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, we take on the responsibility of making them happy, but that's not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to provide atmosphere, to provide an environment so they can define their own happiness, and then that can go about how they want to do it, man. Like I said, like, I appreciate you brothers so much, man. Like, these are your gifts. You have the autumn clover spice. You have the base seasoning, the thing that started it all. You have the mental health book. You know what I'm saying? Like, please use those things in these moments. One thing that we're a part of a fraternity that nobody wants to be a part of. The initiation process is beyond anything, any kappa. Throw your sets up, Mom. Throw your sets up. Anybody else involved in anything? Okay, all right, cool. Right, I had to get at, what I'm saying? We're part of the fraternity that nobody else really wants to be inducted into.
Right.
And like, I appreciate you, brothers, for just having the space, the time, the energy to come here without your spouses and be able to say some things that they probably have never heard.
Yeah.
You express. You know what I mean? Y'all might have to go, when this video releases, y'all might have to answer some questions. You know what I mean? But like,
I was like, hey, I'm just letting you know. Share some stuff.
Right. You know what I mean?
Text on the way here.
I got real talk. We through the midst of all the pain and everything, the traumas that we experienced, we got some exceptional news tonight. You know what I mean? That this brother right here is pregnant. This brother right here is pregnant. I love, you know what I mean, and supporting his wife through the birth of their child. So like, I just want to come together and each of us just pray a prayer over him and his family, the family that they're growing at this moment in time, so that we can make sure he's covered as he goes out and into his journey of he's already your father. Braylon is here.
Yeah, that's right.
He's making sure bruh or sis is making sure, you know what I mean? He's in the pocket, like, yo, like, you gotta be worried about it. You gotta worry, you know what I mean? Dad crazy for real. You gonna have his face paint on. But, like, I just wanna make sure that, like, we make sure that with all the energy and all the love and everything we experience inside of our loss,
right,
that we make sure that we put that positive energy in the things that we experience, the things that we learn into this brother and the thing that he's experiencing right now. So I'm gonna ask you to get up, Solomon.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Brothers, let's congregate. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't nothing foreign to any of us. Come over here, Solomon. Come on in the center, bro. Like, I want us to come together, to link up. Come in the center. Yeah, get in here. Get in here. Come on, Tion. Come in here. Come in. There you go. Marvin, will you start and just go around and just say what you need to say to this brother?
God, we're praying right now that you would continue to help Solomon heal as he prepares for the most recent blessing to come on him and his wife. We're excited and we're grateful. We're just sending all kinds of positive vibes and energy towards him and towards his wife as they are in this space, and that what they have experienced has actually prepared them for this moment, for this opportunity that they have. So we are asking you right now to just any moment of uncertainty or doubt about what is to come, God, that they would just place it in your hands. And not just place it in your hands, but recognize that specifically for Solomon, that he has brothers around him who are here to walk with him through those moments and through those times. That you've placed us all here in relationship together and connected us for times such as these. So help him to remember the village that he has, the brothers that he has, who are walking with him in these moments, and help him to prepare with positivity for being a father again, for the one that is to come, and that you would even begin to even answer his prayers for continuing the line, for continuing the next generation. That you would work that out. You would work that out, be it this time or the next, but that you would do it. We're excited and we're grateful, and our hearts are filled with gratitude for what you're doing for him and for his family.
Father, I pray for just Solomon and his wife, and just come against the spirit of fear. Father, I thank you. Your word declares that you have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. So, Father, I just pray for a sound mind, and that you give them a peace that surpasses all understanding, that they would trust you like never before. Father, we pray for a full-term pregnancy. We come against any complications or anything that might try to hinder his pregnancy. And God, we just believe that you're going to bring forth a healthy baby. Thank you for this brother. Thank you for how you have equipped him already to be a father. Thank you for his wonderful wife, God. Would you just continue to comfort her like only you can. And Father, we thank you in advance for what you're going to do in the life of this precious baby. That he or she will bring glory to your name, and we give you praise.
Go ahead, Larry.
Well, I can't follow none of that. Jesus Christ. But all I can say is, man, just as long as you can stay encouraged and you can stay in contact with us and know that you're not alone,
Yes.
you can make it through anything.
Yes, Lord.
Right? We're going to be here for you. I mean, we all in cry together now. We ain't got no choice.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely my brother now. So
Yes.
if you need me, I'm there for you.
Man, I just want to come before all the energy in this space. Whatever God you serve, whoever you kneel before, universe and all its expansion, and all its glory and infinite. We know who's in control of it all. And though we might be a blink in the time and space and on this earth, we know that every life that you ordain has purpose in whatever capacity, for whatever moment you seem fit. I just want to make sure that my brother Solomon here is on a path to healing the hurt that and the trauma that he experienced.
Yes, Lord.
So that when you move forward in fatherhood, in manhood, in husbandhood, in whatever hood you seem fit, that you know that you have people on the outside that got your back 100%. We're going to be there in whatever capacity you need us to be. I appreciate every single brother centered around you in this space. Your wife,
Yes.
we pray for her safety.
Yes, Lord.
More importantly, we pray for her mental stability.
Yes.
We know that postpartum is real.
Yeah.
We pray for her in that space. We pray for not just the fetus, but the life that you have ordained on that fetus. So that can be fulfilled, and Solomon can be a leader in his family.
Yes, Lord.
And he know he is. I watched him come up from a pup right beside him. And I enjoy the man he is, watching him do the things he do. And I just want to make sure that we are all in congregation.
Yeah.
We are all in the same space of positivity, and making sure that you have the space you need to heal, to grow, and to flourish. With that being said, man, I love you, brothers. This is the place where we can come together and shed our tears of whatever pain. More importantly, I look forward to shedding these tears of joy. 8.5, 7, whatever months from now. When Solomon makes that phone call and says, everything's all right. I promise you I'm going to be there. And in your son's name, the Father, the Creator, everything in beneath it, we pray everything's going to be all right in whatever respect. I love you, boys. I love you, men. I love you, brothers. And let's just be the best men we can moving forward. That's all I hope. I appreciate this is beyond anything that I ever experienced, the spice. Some cinnamon and some cardamom and some orange would be. So I just want to make sure that y'all know that I appreciate you fellas for just being brave enough to be here in this space with me. And I love you guys more than you will ever know, and respect you guys more than you can see. Solomon, anything you want to say?
I just want to say thank you all for being here, praying over me, sharing your stories, definitely uplifting and helping me to see that it's going to be all right. This space was definitely needed. I hope that this video that comes together touches someone else. It touched me, but I hope it touches somebody that needs to be touched.
Yeah.
That it has some young man around my age or older just know that God's in control and it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
I just thank y'all. I love y'all. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, listen, we can go all night. Blackfolkfood, Autumn Clover Spice. You know what I mean? We made this thing happen. Braylon. What's your daughter's name, sir? Kaylin. Anybody else's name?
My son is Brennan.
Brennan.
My son too.
And for everything else that's unnamed and unknown, man, like for every father out here who has experienced anything where they just didn't know what to do, like, get your hands on this. Men to Heal, get your hands on this book. We're donating to this right now. They put more of these in circulation so you can get your hands on it. Like, it has so many tools, things you can write out, you can draw out. Each one of these fellas are getting this in their hands and getting the spices. I don't know what else to give them besides that. If you know what to do, if you know where to send this video to get it in the right hands of people who can take this thing further, please do. Please do. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing. Like, I want people to be okay. You know what I mean? I just want people to be okay. I appreciate y'all. Y'all be cool. Y'all be safe, man. Like, cut that shit, man. Like,